Hello, welcome to Healing the Brain with Jane. So I want to just start out with what I teach everybody in my first session with anybody that I work with who has had a brain injury. So even if it's imperceptible, most of you are sitting on one of your sit bones and you're kind of tilting to the right or the left. And what this does is it kind of sets you off kilter in your whole torso, and it impairs your gait, and then it's like hard with your reaching. So just biomechanically, if you're sitting to one side and you're kind of crunched on one side of your side body and open on the other, you don't have as much reach of your arms, and you don't have as much muscle lengthening. So you get some like shortening there. So what I often see is you're sitting over like this, and then you stand up like that, and then you go off on your skier's leg like this, okay? So a really easy way to treat that, it's not a quick way, but an easy way, is to learn optimal sitting. So optimal sitting is when you're sitting on both butt bones. And if you can't feel very well, that's okay. You can actually gauge it by your feet. And I always take off my shoes or have people take off their AFO, take off your socks, let your feet, like the bottom of your feet, feel the ground. It's the same with your hands. If I'm gonna put your hands in weight bearing, we have the same kind of things on the bottom of our feet, those mechanoreceptors that tell us where our body is in space. So if you always have one foot up like this or supinated like that, your body doesn't know where that is. So then it compensates by going like this to get up. You guys know you're doing this. So put your feet down and make sure that they're parallel. And then you look at your knees. Make sure that your knees are slightly over your ankles or in the same line. And you want your hips just slightly higher than your knees. This is optimal sitting. If I'm sitting like this, it's really hard for me to get up in a skier's pose. I have to actually think about it. You want to set yourself up for those things that you have to actually think about. Okay, how can I be off balance? You want to put yourself in the most advantageous position you can. So from this position, you sit up straight, you try to engage your lower abdominals. Even if you can't feel it, try to think about doing that. And then what I do to bias my sit is I put my hands in front, and say your hand is not working as well as you'd like, push it like this and you get a twofer. You're putting weight bearing through your fingers as well. And then bias your weight forward, because most people after a brain injury, they don't want to lean forward or back. They want to stay somewhere here and over to the less affected side. So just like this, lean forward. Try to feel the weight in your midfoot and then a little bit in your toes. You can close your eyes if you want, although that will be scary. You start to feel your quads fire, and maybe that's all you do for today. Maybe that's it. But that you know that you're feeling your lower abdomen fire up, you're feeling your quads fire up, and you've got 50% in each foot. And that's what we're looking for, 50% weight bearing. So then you get your arms forward and you lean forward from the hips, not like this. I often see that, I hate it. Like this, lean forward from the hips, and then slowly raise up. And maybe that's all you do today. You're just right like this. Or you go all the way extending your hips. And then right back down. And then right back up. I can feel this so much through my feet. And even in typical bodies who haven't had a brain injury, you're gonna favor one side of your body. That's why in yoga, you do a move and you're like, oh, it was really hard for me to stand on one foot, but the other foot, I was kind of okay. It's similar, but it's just really exaggerated. So you wanna find that midline. If you haven't found midline yet, that kind of makes sense. It's gonna happen. It just takes a lot of practice. Okay, so let's start with that. Start at the very beginning. A very good place to start.